I remember my feelings on 24th February. The war started. Like, what? We don't have any good candidate. Some of them were killed, some of them were in prison. Russians are taught to tie their belts when it's crisis. Okay. If no McDonald's, we will go to Russian kind version of McDonald's. Okay. They send weapon that is need to be repaired. They send weapon that they use once and then it's broken. While we are like peacefully talking about it in Japan, people actually die in Ukraine. This is insane.
今日はね、同じ大学にいるロシアからの留学生のゴーシャ君に、特に今回のインタビューではロシアについての軍事的状況だったりとか今の状況を話を深掘れたらいいなと思ってます。ではやっていきましょう。 Hi.
Привет. This is hi in Russian.
Hi, okay. What brought you to come to Japan?
And this is my exchange program. Yeah, for 1 year. That's why I've been waiting for so long to come here because of coronavirus and now.
Yeah, okay. So, what do you learn in your university?
Japanese studies, so it's Japanese language, Japanese geography, history, economy, everything that is related to Japan and Asian countries.
When did you know about Japanese culture and Japanese?
Probably most of Russians know about Japanese culture from childhood. Yeah, but actually my father, are you ready for a long story?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
And my father, he was in Japan right before the collapse of the Soviet Union.
Okay.
He was with my grandfather. My grandfather worked here in the Soviet embassy. And my father spent here 2 years. So that's why, like a 20 years old boy who came from poor Soviet Union, so like abundance of everything here.
Yeah.
That's why he got lots of impressions. He came back. Then from childhood he told me lots of stories about like how cool Japan is, how modern it is, how like mixed traditional culture and skyscrapers, like everything. Yeah.
So you knew Japan in your childhood, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And most of Russians probably they know about Japan because of anime, manga. Yeah. I don't know what is the name in English or in Japanese, but in Russian it's Стальной алхимик. It's maybe Iron Alchemist. This is about two brothers.
Oh yes.
Yeah. And they wanted to
Yes.
give your mother back to life,
in Japan.
Right.
Hagane no Renkinjutsu.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the first image of Japan?
When I came here, I had to be quarantined for 3 days after coming here. The first thing that really shocked me is how good the service here is.
Yes.
What I want to say is when we entered the quarantine hotel, there was a long hall and there were 5 doors in the hall. And there were Japanese standing near the doors. And when I went through these doors, they opened it at the same time and bowed really deeply. Like the first, the second, third, fifth, fourth, fifth door. And there is no such service in Russia. When you come to a just shop, in Japanese they ask you like really politely, right? In Keigo, do you need pack or something? And in Russia they're like, come here, pack, money. That's it.
We have a omotsunashi culture in Japan, so that is why maybe you experienced kind of how polite Japanese people are. So. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you about conflict about Russia and Ukraine. So maybe it's kind of serious problem and it's serious topic.
Yeah,
but
it's definitely.
If you can answer, maybe I will appreciate kind of problem. First question is, what do you think about the conflict between Russia and Ukraine?
I believe it's a tragedy. It's wound. For many years, Russian and Ukrainians were considered as brother nations. Yeah, lots of Russians have relatives in Ukraine, as well as lots of Ukrainians have relatives in Russia. My grandmother, she is half Ukrainian, and we have lots of friends there. I'm not sure about the percentage, but it seems to me that maybe 70 or 65% of people spoke Russian as their mother tongue.
Oh.
Yeah. So you see how close the connection is, right?
Yes.
And now this is a really huge distance. Yeah. This is a tragedy.
Yeah. Okay. So, what is the image of President Putin in Russia?
Okay, there are two basic images of president. Most of people see him as a really strong. Putin is considered to be a really independent leader.
Independent.
Yeah. This is the one image. And the other image is even those people who do not hate him, they consider him as a dictator who has all the power in his hands and who destroyed all the political life in Russia. Because when it comes to new elections, we don't have any good candidate. You know why? Because some of them were killed, some of them are in prison. Nobody knows why. When it comes to new elections, no good candidate, no experienced candidate, except only one person, who is Putin.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why lots of Russians vote for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So next question is, do you think the invasion to Ukraine by Putin and by Russia was legitimate?
No.
Or not?
No. I believe that no country can violate
true.
the borders of other sovereign country, right? And I remember my feelings on 24th February. I was in a dorm and my roommate, he woke me up and said, the war started. I'm like, what? What war? Yeah, what war? What war? Okay. Yeah, because before, nobody actually believed that the war can start. I was raised with a thought that Russia has nuclear power, a nuclear weapon, a big army, lots of missiles, only to protect our interest when somebody from outside attacks us. But what happened on 24th February? Russia attacked sovereign country, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't legitimate. No. So why our government thinks that it's legitimate to attack other countries, even though there are Russians? You cannot invade the country to solve the problem. I think starting war is the last thing you can do to solve the problem.
We mustn't, and they must not to invade a country, even though they think territory, right?
Yeah.
I was wondering, is your friend's situation is still be okay?
Yes, and if we are talking about my Russian friends, of course they are okay, but not those friends who are in Ukraine. I have some Ukrainian friends. All of them, they moved to western part of the country or they flee to the European Union. Now they are okay, of course, but still the fact that they had to leave their own houses.
I heard from Japanese media the kind of McDonald's, a big company, take away and disappear in Russia, right? What do you think about that?
Interesting part is probably most of Russians, they said, okay, if you're leaving, bye. Russians kind of maybe trained, endure the crisis if it happens, because whole history of Russia, it was crisis after crisis after crisis after crisis.
Yes.
There is a saying in Russia, Russians are taught to tie their belts when it's crisis. Yes. This is what is going on in Russia probably right now.
So the Russian people do not care about that.
They care, but they're like, okay, if no McDonald's, we will go to Russian kind version of McDonald's.
Okay.
Yeah. If we are talking about MacBooks, iPhones, they still are imported in Russia through other third countries or other ways.
Next question is, maybe Japanese people can only get the information from the Japanese news and Japanese media. You know the difference between Japanese media and the Russian media, also the other countries' media. Do you think the Japanese media is accurately conveying information about the conflict between Russia and the Ukraine? What do you think of that?
Actually, I think no media in the world can show the situation accurately. Because media are run by some organizations, right? It's state media, it's paid private media. I think it's impossible to 100% accurate.
Yes, true.
Yeah, but I think there are some medias like Tereto in Japan who do it from different sites, and they even, as far as I know, they even send their correspondents to the actual place of the situation, right? Yes. So these people can grab some news point of view. World is not black and white, it's 50 shades of gray, right? So I cannot say about all Japanese media, but probably it's accurate, but the part of it's accurate. Yes. I believe. I'm not a expert.
Yes, it's your own thought, but
and I can mistaken. But I believe that some parties, political parties and people, they really want to support Ukraine. They really want to send a weapon to Ukraine to stop the war, right? Or to defend Ukraine from Russia. And I believe very beginning, it really was a help to Ukraine. Mm-hmm. But after that, something weird started to happen. Even though I've talked to many foreigners and they said that this weapon is given Ukraine for free, which is, as far as I know, not true. It's sponsored by the governments of those countries who send weapon, and it's for free, yeah. But the other part of this weapon is like a long-term loan. So Ukraine needs to pay it after the war ends. Ukrainian officials, it's not my words. It's not something that I've heard in Russia. It's something that I read in Ukrainian medias. They say that what we get from West is like 10% of what we need to fight Russia. For some reason, European countries, they send weapon that is need to be repaired. They send weapon that they use once and then it's broken. I don't know. Maybe they are afraid of the conflict getting worse. Why? We were talking about the fact that Russia didn't declare war to Ukraine, right? And Ukraine didn't declare war to Russia. It's weird, right? It's actual war, but no side declared war. Even this case shows that there is no evil and good, right? And we see poor Ukrainian people who suffer from this war. We see Ukrainian men who go to the front line and who die every day, like 500 people, 600 people. This is official information of Ukraine. They die every day. And the conflict is not ended because maybe one of the reasons why it's not ended because Ukraine doesn't get good weapon. Talking about peace agreement with Russia for Ukraine. Biden said maybe giving Russia Ukrainian territories like Lugansk, Donetsk and Crimea is not a big deal actually if we stop the war. What? Giving Russia territories so we can stop the war and we can like lift the sanctions and have like gas and something. This is really complicated, right? What was the question?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Here's the last question. Is there anything that you would like to share in YouTube of this video?
You know what is the worst? While we are like peacefully talking about it in Japan, people actually dying in Ukraine. I can like having enough food, being in a safe place, right, with air conditioner. People in Ukraine die every day. This is insane. YouTube is a great platform to have different opinions, better than the TV, right? So try to be careful with things that you don't know and try to get information about different points of view, even though sometimes it literally hurts, right, to watch something because you think, it's propaganda, it's not true, it's false. But I think every side of the conflict, Russia, Ukraine, European, Western countries, they tell the truth actually, but the truth is limited. And to see the situation accurately, as you said, probably you need to grab from different resources. Is it really so?
Thank you so much for my interview. So, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
はい、今回のインタビューはいかがだったでしょうか。実際に日本でも第二次世界大戦の時に原爆が落とされたりとか、戦争は絶対にしてはいけないと思うんですよ。僕は今回の動画を通じて実際にロシアとウクライナでの現状だったりとか、そういった出来事をこの YouTube を通して伝えたいなと思ってます。今日はロシア出身の留学生が答えてくれたんですけど、違った意見だったりとか、日本ではあまり放送されないこと、取り上げられないことを自分はこの動画を通じて伝えられたのかなと思ってます。今回のインタビューをご視聴いただきありがとうございました。今回はこれで終わりにしたいと思います。それではバイバイ。